Salut tout le monde! Welcome back to Unintentionally Frenchified. It is officially December, which for me is like the start of the winter holiday season. I personally celebrate Christmas, so this is a time where we start to get the decorations out, we get the tree, and I just love all of the vibe around Christmas. When it comes to where we celebrate Christmas with my husband and my daughter, we tend to kind of ping pong back and forth between France and the US. So we do 1 year in France, 1 year in the US. And while I really like my husband's family, there are 5 very specific reasons why I very much prefer celebrating Christmas in the US versus France. Let me know in the comments where you like to spend the holiday season, why, any traditions, what makes it so important for you to be in a specific place while you celebrate the holidays this year. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button so you do not miss out on all your Frenchified content. And otherwise, let's dive into those 5 reasons why Christmas in the US is superior versus France. Yes, I said it. I said the word superior. C'est parti. The very first thing that is so amazing about Christmas in the US is really just the vibe. The way that the holidays and Christmas and Hanukkah and anything anyone's celebrating is done in the US is so over the top compared to France. And to be fair to the French, the way they celebrate anything is much smaller and a much more toned down version of anything when we do things in the US. That's just kind of their culture and their way of doing things. So of course the holidays and Christmas is no different in France. But I just love in the US, like all the lights, you know, the Santa Clauses at every mall, the Christmas carolers everywhere, the matching pajamas, the people standing in all of the different stores collecting money so that you can give out gifts to people who are in need during the holidays, the music, the candy canes. I mean, I could go on and on. I completely understand if you're not used to this type of vibe, it could be very overwhelming. And I imagine for the French, probably tacky. I don't know, you'll have to tell me, because there's so much going on, so many decorations. But because that's what I grew up with, it's just a huge part of the spirit of the holidays is to really feel it from everybody, like no matter where you go, as soon as you step out after Thanksgiving, beam, you know, it's the holidays. And it's something that, you know, we just don't have in France. The one thing that we do a lot in the US that I don't like though, is the amount of gifts that we give. There is such a bigger focus in the US on quantity over quality versus France, and that is not something that I miss. The piles and piles of gifts is not necessary. You know, finding a way to offer things that are more meaningful. I mean, I think that they do a better job with that in France. If this holiday season you want to gift to someone else something that's more meaningful, or even gift to yourself something that has a more long-lasting effect, think about signing up or gifting a Lotta language sprint. Learning a new language, I cannot say it enough, opens you up to so many different things in your life. I mean, you learn a new language, you learn about a new culture, you learn about new traditions. Even if I'm telling you why I think the US right now is superior in Christmas, learning a new language is so enriching for your entire life. And what's really cool about the language sprint at Lotta is depending on how many classes you commit to, you are going to get a certain amount of cash back. So imagine that you want to commit to 15 classes per month for 2 months. As long as you stick to that commitment and you go to your classes, you get 50% cash back at the end of the language sprint. If you decide to take it one step further and you commit to 30 classes a month for 2 months, then you end up getting 100% cash back as long as you go to those classes. So basically, it's a gift that will keep giving for life that is potentially free. What's the downside? Lotta is the #1 online language school. They offer really small classes. It's incredibly flexible. You can take classes at any time during the day or night as long as you have an internet connection. And there's actually been over 50,000 people, students, who have already taken a language sprint, and they have reviews all over their website, so you do not just have to take my word for it. Go check it out. But after this 2-month language sprint, you can really go from not speaking a language to holding casual conversations. It is really going to accelerate your language learning journey. And this is such an amazing opportunity to really kickstart the new year with a big challenge for yourself or a big challenge for someone else. I put my personalized link in the YouTube description below. You also have my discount code. It gets you 20 euros off or $25 off the deposit. So go check everything out and enjoy. Okay, so one of my most favorite traditions that really cannot be done in France is this idea of being able to go around and check out your neighbor's decorations and lights in front of their house. And I think you probably imagine like a little string of lights on someone's house, and very much linked to my number one, house decorations during the holidays are very over the top in the US. I would honestly call them a masterpiece for some people. You will spend hours, maybe days setting up your decorations and your lights, and it's really like a work of art. And so what we do in the US is it's a really common tradition to grab a hot chocolate, grab some tea, bundle up or hop in the car, and you either walk or drive around and you look at all of your neighbors' different decorations and then you vote on your favorite ones. And you can't really do this in France because while people do decorate, it's not quite as over the top. It's maybe not necessarily worth like driving around. And so I'm super excited for this year celebrating Christmas in the US because my daughter's 3, so she's finally starting to understand a bit of the holiday spirit. And so we really can go around and do this tradition together this year. The third thing I really love about the US is the tradition of interacting a lot with Santa. I almost said beaucoup, but a lot with Santa. And you only believe in Santa for such a short period in your entire life. And so the magic that you can create around Santa during that time is just so much fun. And in the US, we interact a lot with Santa. So for example, we start off by writing a letter to Santa, talking about the things that we would like. You're able to post the letter in the post office if you want, or a lot of people will actually put a fire in the chimney and then you put the letter in there and it disintegrates and it's supposed to fly up to the North Pole and then come back together. We often make cookies for Santa and then we leave those cookies with some milk for the reindeers at night, and then somebody, will bite into the cookies so that Santa has clearly tried your cookies when he comes. We have a lot of Santa Clauses in the malls here. Of course, I know that you can find Santa Claus in Paris, but in the other different places that I lived, it wasn't quite as much of a tradition for the kids to go and sit on Santa's lap. You can absolutely find that in France. I'm not saying that you can't, but when I say it's everywhere in the US, it's everywhere. Like it is, you run into Santas when you are out, walking around in town or when you're going shopping. There's even this more newer tradition in the US of something called Elf on a Shelf, where it's one of Santa's elf that actually comes and visits the kids during the month of December, and he sits on a part of the shelf, and every morning he moves. So the parents have to move it every single night. You cannot forget. And the kids wake up in the morning and they have to find where the elf is going to sit during the day. And the elf is watching over them. It's kind of a way of saying like Santa's watching to see if you're being good. I'm not really sure what I think about needing an elf in order to push children to have good behavior, but I do just like this whole interaction with Santa and Santa's elves, and just kind of goes along with the whole holiday spirit that I really like. Christmas cookie decorations is a highlight of my Christmas. In the US, we tend to make sugar cookies in the shapes of different, trees or ornaments on the tree or snowmen or stars or whatever it is. We tend to bake sugar cookies like that, and then you let everybody in the family decorate with icing and sprinkles and candies and whatever they want on their cookies. Often even we make them, say, for like teachers or coaches, and so you can pass them out to people at school or to your friends. There's really a tradition around making cookies and giving cookies. In France, the very typical French dessert for Christmas is a bûche de Noël, and a bûche de Noël is amazing. It's like a sponge cake with icing on it, and we do a lot in my husband's family. It's more of like an ice cream as well that's inside of it, which makes me think of like a very chic, like Dairy Queen's ice cream cake. So it's amazing. I mean, food in France is so good, but you don't tend to, at least not in the families I've interacted with or the Christmases I've gone to, you don't tend to make it yourself. It's something that you buy from the boulangerie and that you order well in advance so that there's enough at Christmas. And so there's not as much of like the spirit of getting around the table, drinking a hot drink, decorating together, making the dessert for the family, and then eating it on that day as well as giving it to Santa. And so it's a tradition that I like that. And finally, the fifth reason why I love celebrating in the US is the white elephant game. I don't know how many of you guys know this game before I explain it, so you'll have to let me know in the comments. But basically, and I've been trying to bring this into my French family and like do this at work with people, but basically everybody comes with a gender neutral, you choose an amount, say $20 or €20 gift, and everyone puts it in a pile on the floor. So you don't know whose gift is from who. Then you end up like pulling numbers. So you have the amount of people that are in the room who brought gifts, and everyone pulls out a number. The first person, so whoever chose number 1, goes, they choose a gift, they unwrap it. That's pretty normal, okay? Everybody sees what the gift is. The second person then gets to decide if they want to steal the gift from that person or if they want to draw a new gift and open it up in front of everybody. So what happens is by the time you get to say the 7th person, they have 6 gifts in front of them that they know what they would get, and they can decide either to steal a gift. If they steal from someone, that person's not allowed to steal back directly from them. But imagine I'm number 7. I steal a gift from whoever was number 4 because they've got a really great toothbrush that I want. So I grab the toothbrush. Then that person will then decide, okay, do I want to steal a gift from anybody except the person who just stole from me, or do I want to open up a new one? And the game just continues until the very last person. So you always want to be the last person. Imagine you're number 20 and there were 20 people, because then you see 19 gifts and you know you can either take any of the 19 for yourself, or you can decide to unwrap the final gift sitting there. And as soon as you unwrap the final gift, then the game is over. So I just think it's a fun way to do gifts without giving gifts to everybody, without doing a ton of gifts, doing a price that's, affordable for everybody. The idea is at Christmas, to me, it's more about the spirit. It's not about breaking the bank. And so I think it's a really great way to, do a very large celebration with lots of people, with having it just be, fun. All right, guys, that is a wrap. I can't wait to hear in the comments below what kind of holiday traditions that you like to celebrate. It doesn't have to be Christmas, but during the holiday season, what kind of traditions are you doing? Where do you prefer celebrating your holidays at, and why? I will find you in the comments below. Don't forget about Lingoda. I put my personalized code in the YouTube description along with that discount off of registration, so go check that out if you're interested. Enjoy the holiday vibe, spirit, everything I love about this time of the year, and I will see everybody very soon. La semaine prochaine. Bisous!